I know that a lot of y'all are probably expecting Holly, but surprise, it's her husband, her better half. And tonight I'm going to talk to y'all about doing Woodubend. It's not some weird kind of yoga. It's some stuff to use with furniture, or really almost anything you want it to be used on. If you know anything about me, you know that I'm a wood turner, and wood turning is absolutely a subtractive art, meaning that you take stuff away to get to what you want to have. You don't really ever add anything back to wood turning. And if you look in the floor of my garage right now under my lathe, you can tell that you take a lot of stuff away when you're making stuff. Even with furniture building, a lot of times you're taking stuff away or joining stuff, but you're not really adding to the wood. You cut a board short, then it's done. But with Woodubend is actually an additive function, a way to add stuff to whatever piece that you're working with, to add a little pizzazz to it, a little bit of neat stuff about it. What Woodubend is a wood product, or a wood-like product actually, that comes in all different sizes, shapes, different styles. It's paintable. You glue it to wooden surfaces, and you can glue it to pretty much anything that the glue will bond to. Actually, I've seen some people put these on the outside of terracotta flower pots. It is, as the name implies, bendable. You heat it up. It's very rigid, as it is right here, very solid. But you heat it up, and you can bend it. On this sign, or a couple things on the sign and a couple things on the drawer front, just to show you how to do this. The stuff you're going to need if you're wanting to do this is actually the Woodubend stuff itself, and you can find that on our website, at our Shopify site. And I'm sure Holly will have a link to that somewhere down in the description. You need, other than that, whatever paint you're going to use. Fusion paint works great, and you can find that on our Shopify site too. You need some kind of a glue. Me personally, I like Titebond Thick and Quick because it has a very quick reaction time. It actually grabs pretty quick, so you're not sitting there holding it forever trying to keep it from moving while the glue sets up. So it is pretty quick. And it's also fairly thick, as the name implies, meaning that it doesn't squirt out and run all over the place. So it doesn't ruin your surface like some of the other glues might do. Woodubend actually says any wood specific. If you use Gorilla Glue, just remember that's not for your hair. It's only for gluing wood. All right. So just keep that in mind. Personal or public service announcement for tonight. So you need some glue, and you need a heat source. I'm going to use a glue or a heat gun. I bought this one for a very specific purpose. I figured it would be the only time I was ever going to use it. And I use this thing all the time now, to be honest with you. I take stickers off stuff with it. I use it for this. I use it for removing naugat hide off chairs. All kinds of neat stuff. Heating up beeswax to apply to a wood bowl. I use my heat gun for a lot of stuff. So you need a heat gun. You don't have to go out and buy a heat gun if you don't have one. Chances are you may have a hairdryer, and a hairdryer will work. I've actually used one before to do this with. It does take a little bit longer, but you have less of a chance of scorching the product if you use a hairdryer. And actually the website says that you can even take a hot plate or a griddle, like for making pancakes, and set this on top of that griddle, and it will warm it up enough that it will get bendable for you. So that would work as well. Don't know if I'd want to set up my griddle for that, but anyway, you need a heat source. So some glue and a heat source. And then whatever you're applying it to, and that's really about all you're going to need. If you're messy like me, I've already lost them. I think Holly's already thrown them away. My tissues that I had laid out for me, because I know I'm going to get glue everywhere. And Holly trying to clean up and not asking. And got rid of my paper towel. So you might want those, something to spread the glue with. I'm going to use my fingers, which hence the paper towels. And so, let's do this. Even if you're applying this to a flat surface, a relatively flat surface, which this is right here, this is a nice flat, there's no bow to it, no curve to it, even though it looks like it because my table has a bow to it. at the joint where it folds out. But even though it's a very flat surface, this piece right here, you can see maybe that it's dancing around a little bit and needs to be contoured to fit the surface. So what I'm going to do is I am going to heat it up. I don't want to heat it up on this surface though, because I don't want to mar the finish on that at all. So I'm going to heat it up over here on this. I'm going to do one at a time so I don't get ahead of myself. And just I got my heat gun set on about a 3. We'll see how that works, but I'm impatient, so we might ramp it up a little bit here in a few minutes if it's taking too long. But keep moving it back and forth. Don't let it set too much in one place. You don't want to scorch it, especially if you've already painted it like we've done these. You don't want them to burn your paint or bubble up your paint, and it can be done. Even with Fusion mineral paint, as forgiving as it is, if you put too much heat on it for too long, it will bubble. And don't ask me how I know that. So I'm just trying to apply a little heat, and you can see already, hopefully, that it's starting to bend. I can bend it now around the contour. So I'm going to bend it, get it nice and loose, and it will stay that way for a few minutes, so you've got a little bit of time. And so you got it nice and flexible there. I'm going to throw a little bit of glue on it. And this is Thick and Quick by Type Bond. I use it for a lot of different stuff. It's not waterproof though, I would say that, or at least not from my experience. And it does dry pretty clear, so if it does splooge out on you a little bit, you'll have you won't have a big mess that you're trying to contend with, like a yellow glue would do. You won't see it as bad. Get the glue all over it. Nice spread there, and I probably got a little bit too much around some of the edges. We'll see how it works. Now I'm going to line this up here. I'm going to try to find center as best I can on my handy dandy center rule here. And I'm going to apply this. And as I apply it, I'm going to just press it down. You've got to apply some pressure to it. You don't have to clamp it or anything crazy, but you want to apply pressure, good even pressure across it, so that all the surface is in contact with the wood. And so how's the weather where you're at? It's going to take me a few minutes for it to calm down.
Where were you at?
We're upstairs in our house. I want me to tell y'all where I was at for some reason. We are in Eastern Carolina, right outside of Camp Lejeune, which is where I retired from the United States Marine Corps. We have a couple of shops. Actually, if you're local, we have a couple of shops that we sell stuff out of. Vendor malls, if you will. One of them is the Foundry. We're Country Roads Crafts there, vendor number 500. We're also in Antique to Chic, which is really new. We just had our grand opening just a week or two ago. And we're also Country Roads Crafts there as well. And then we're also in Twice as Nice, which you can find us there. We don't sell a lot of this type of stuff in that store, but you can find our finished products there. And it ain't wanting to stay down. There we go. I may have talked a bit too much, and
I said thank you for your service.
Let it cool down. Thank you. Whoever said that. My wife's telling me because I can't read that teleprompter from here. Just trying to hold it down there and let it roll good. And I know I told you not to do this, but I'm going to do it just real gentle, warm it just a little bit. If you're doing this and you're having a hard time with it staying in place because the glue wants to move on you or wants to slide around the glue, and sometimes that does happen, the glue gets very viscous and the parts will move around on you. One of the things that I have seen done is people will take a little bit of salt and mix it with, or put over top of the glue, and the salt gives it traction, kind of like putting salt on icy roads. And I know some of my good friends down in Texas are having those issues here this past week, and in West Virginia we always had icy roads. So the salt kind of works in the same respect as far as giving you, it's kind of like cinders would do on an icy road, give you some traction. I wouldn't do that for furniture because I think the salt may interfere with the glue, to be honest with you. But for something like this, it's not going to hold any weight. Doesn't have any pressure on it. I think it would not hurt it if you did that. So on to the next one. And again, you can see that it's just from right there. You can see that it raises up a little bit. So they don't come exactly flat. So what were you trying to tell me there a second ago, Holly?
Oh, somebody said they're from Louisiana. It's been crazy down there.
Oh, Louisiana. I got a good friend of mine that's in Mississippi, and they've been having some crazy weather too.
Hopefully everybody has power.
We get a couple snowstorms around here occasionally, but nothing really bad. Most of our bad weather is hurricanes.
We got a couple months.
And yeah, we're a little ways off from that right now, so hopefully that doesn't get too bad on us this year. But you never can tell. The winter's been extremely mild for us. I know everybody can't say that. But for us, it's been extremely mild, and that's usually not a good sign for hurricane season. So I'm going to line this up. It's still flexible. I can feel it moving in my hands. Kind of give it a good eyeball there, and now I'm holding her down nice and tight. Kill a little time. If you're into immediate satisfaction, this ain't it. You do have to wait on it to dry. Kind of like watching the grass grow a little bit.
Or the snow to melt.
Or the snow to melt, depending on where you're at. Although it melts pretty quick when we get it here, usually, because the sun comes out and takes it away. Most of the time. I was camping in West Virginia in January, the last week of January, actually. We woke up to snow on Thursday. Actually, it started snowing just as we was going to bed that night.
Phyllis said they had 2 hurricanes, a pandemic, and now ice storms in Louisiana for 2021.
Ooh.
Hopefully it'll get better.
I'm hoping it does for them folks.
We didn't have too many hurricanes last year. We had one.
Alright, so here we go. And so when you get done, what you end up with is those little flourishes, top and bottom of the Woodubend sign that Holly cut out on a CNC machine. So that's the first one we're going to do. And that was painted with midnight blue fusion mineral paint, and then it was dry brush over with metallic gold. Is what she used. All right, so the next thing I want to do, this is a drawer out of an end table that we're refinishing that Holly painted up this afternoon. And I don't know if you can see it, but it is slightly curved. Not a big curve, not like a flower pot, but it is slightly curved. So I'm going to apply these little roses to it right about there. And again, it's got a little bit of curve to it, but that's not a problem because this stuff will bend and mold to it. So again, just got to heat it up. And these are thicker, so it will take a little longer. It will take longer for it to warm all the way through and get it really pliable. But that's not a problem. Because you got nothing else to do, right? Let's sit here and hold a heat gun on the rose. And the rose, of course, is painted with, that's right, fusion mineral paint. Huh?
York.
Fort York red, Holly said, is what it was painted with.
And then I did a black wax.
And it's got black wax on it to give it a little bit of detail.
And I'll put the numbers on that Woodubend in the comments.
All the stuff that we're using, Holly will have on the in the comments and whatnot. All right, so right there, that's already getting very flexible, very movable. All right, slap a little glue on it. It's sticking quick, but it don't come out quick sometimes. All right, there we go.
It's in the cold garage.
All right. Just to give me a little reference so they're even on both sides. I'll put that there, just like that. And again, apply some pressure. A little bit of glue splurge there I had, although it will dry clear, so you won't notice it as much.
Were you first met with Woodubend?
So we've learned about wood. It's only been around since about 2018, and we learned about it by going to a workshop, a Dixie Belle paint workshop. Actually, or not. Actually, it wasn't Dixie Belle paint either. The lady who did the workshop does sell Dixie Belle.
44 Marketplace.
But it's at 44 Marketplace in Eatonton, North Carolina, Eatonton, Georgia, not North Carolina, Georgia. It's on a lake, and I can't think. Lake Oconee? Oconee is the name of the lake. But
went to a creative finishes class.
It was a creative finishes class, and I just dropped a rose. There it is. But in that class, we learned about Woodubend and about how to do a couple different types of finishes. But that was really my first experience with the Woodubend, and it's pretty neat that you could add the flourishes. Ordinarily, something like that, you'd have to carve it out with a chisel, and I'm just not that artistic or that patient to carve something out of wood with a chisel to give that kind of a design. And so it's really nice that you can buy these and that they're flexible and bendable. And some of them are pretty thin and they seem kind of fragile when you touch them, like the ones I placed on the Woodubend sign. And if you break it, it's not that big of a deal. You can put them back together, glue them up, and it's not a huge deal. Just heat them back up and move them around. If you put these on and you realize after you've put them on that, oops, I may have screwed that up, that's not where I wanted it, you can actually heat them up and remove them, pop them off. Right, that's where I want to go there. You can heat them up and break them off and reuse them.
You can find one in the corner, you can cut it.
Or yeah, if you find one you like that, or a part of one that you like, you can actually cut it off, separate it, just use a piece of it. You don't have to use the whole thing.
And you can sand it.
They are a sandable surface. However, I will tell you that for a lot of them, I would be really careful about sanding, because like these roses right here, I mean, what do you think's going to happen when you sand them? You're going to lose a whole lot of detail. So while you could sand them if you needed to, use your own best judgment on that.
You can cut them and then sand it in.
And so I just screwed that up. So let's try out this method right here. Popped it loose. Reading the ruler upside down has not always been my strong suit. So I'll move that over. How about I just measure this one over here first? Yep, all right. So you get to see a few things. Doing a quick change and repair. Wipe up some glue. poly painted this drawer with
Divine Lavender and
the purple is Divine Lavender.
the dark purple is Twilight Geranium.
And then over top of the Divine Lavender, which is this, she used Twilight Geranium
But I did a blended technique.
to blend it in and kind of give it that cloudy look in the center. Yes, that was intentional.
This time. This time.
And so there's a couple roses on the front of the drawer. And then, of course, there'll be the ring drawer pull in the center for this end table that will be ready to go here pretty soon. And so, Woodubend, it's that easy. It is just that easy. Easy to put together, easy to glue down, easy to paint, and easy to fix when you screw up, which is sometimes important. Y'all check out the site. If you like what you see, please tell a friend. Can't use the S word, apparently these days. But tell a friend. Hit all the little buttons down there to let you know when we're doing another video. Because I think these are actually making their way to YouTube at some point. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed that. I hope you maybe gained a little bit of information, something you can use in your next project. We'll see y'all next time on Country Roads Crafts.